Welcome to Here's How We Get There. It's the daily show filled with conversations about business and mental health in a down-to-earth style with real-world language. Now let's dive in with your co-hosts, Kenneth Shark Kinney and Trey Tucker.
Trey, Peloton is going through, it's a long process, but they're going through a rebrand, a lot of changes. How do you see Peloton in the market and where you think they are going to be going forward?
I don't like where they're headed. They rode the huge tsunami of success during the whole pandemic when people couldn't leave their house. So they were ordering all their equipment, and their stock, I think it rose something like 250% during that 2020 year. But then after the pandemic slowly started to ease, people started to be able to leave their house and their stock plummeted. And I think it's, if my notes are right, I think it's just this year alone, it's down 46%. So they knew they had to do something, but I don't like what they've done. They used to have the brand image of luxury and the high-end piece where it was pretty inaccessible to most people, unless you just wanted to buy the app only. But they really focused on their equipment. They had that bold red color. Now they've gotten rid of the red and they've gotten rid of the luxury image, where now they don't focus on selling the hardware, the equipment so much anymore. Now they just want to be what seems to be everything to everybody. And you and I both know it's marketing 101. You have to have a niche. You can't be all things to all people. So I don't see this going in a great direction. I know they have to do something, but it seems like staying in the luxury brand with just some tweaks might have been the better play. How about you?
Well, I don't really worry too much about the rebrand portion with the logo because I get frustrated with any of these stupid rebrand logo things. That pays a lot of agencies to work on graphic design, but I don't, where they did well was in particular the niche, and you're right. And I think them getting away from the hardware model that did so well for them, they're going to be playing in a space where everybody's trying to duplicate and replicate their subscription model a little bit cheaper. And although they haven't stopped the downfall, they've at least seemed to have been stopping the bleeding. To your point, the hardware was what did them well. And what they're also suffering from is they've had a lot of Peloton bikes that have been recalled. And that recall also makes it very annoying to the customer experience when every bike, or not every bike, but a lot of the bikes, millions of bikes were said to go through the recall. So I worry a little bit about where they're going to land. I'm still not sold with that, but if they play in a commodity place with just the app, they can't be the most expensive app in an everywhere audience. They need to fall back into that niche, which made them so strong. Do they need to pivot in a different direction? Yeah, but playing in the space with everybody else, that was not what the bike. They weren't the first bike out there 100 years ago. These bikes have been around for quite some time, but they developed a community, and they seem to be going away from that community with a different kind of trying to play in the everywhere space, which I don't think works for them. What advice would you give them to move them to a more successful place?
I'd say remember who you are. Remember what got you there, because that community was built on who they were with that personality of the luxury aspirational brand. So keep playing into that and make some tweaks to that, but don't try for the just total overhaul facelift. How about you?
I'd tell it's same thing. I'd tell them to lean into their community. And if they lean into that and figure out where it's profitable within there, not just what their audience may want, but what's going to also make them more profitable and not less, that's where they need to go in the market. Exactly. And I'll spin my wheels over and over telling that tale.
Your squeaky wheels.
My squeaky wheel that I fell off and had to get recalled. All right. So we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you for joining Shark and Trey on the Here's How We Get There show. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show and visit here'showwegetthere.com. That's here'showwegetthere.com.